Surely they can't be serious. They are, but don't call them Shirley. Need an education on how to grow your business? The nice guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Getting more and more legit every day. Wait, I'm on the wrong link now. Growth by Referrals.
Wait, we're getting more and more legitimate every day?
No, getting more and more legit. That's the, I had my thing on the wrong. That was an old, episode 224. So that was.
Okay, can you imagine that episode 224, that was an old episode? I mean, where were you? Like where we were episode like 5 thinking, were you ever looking when we were have we started the show?
Are we starting the show? Is that what's going on here? I hadn't even thought about it. You know, I'm usually the one that's recording and pretending to actually kind of start the show. And now I have no idea what's going on. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Nice Guys on Business. My name is Strickland Bonner. It's Doug Sandler on the other side of the microphone. And yeah, I'm just trying to find the right notes here for our interview with Stacey Randall.
Well, what has happened over the last almost 2 years now, Strickland, almost 2 years. Today is what is it? All Hallows Day? Is that what it is? What's the official name of Halloween?
Oh, Halloween. All Hallow. I have no idea. Is there an official name that's not Halloween? I don't know.
I think so. I think it's like All Hallows Saints Day or something crazy like that. It's it's a pagan holiday.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And what is that supposed to mean?
I don't know either. I don't know that word either. All I know is when I was growing up, we used to take literally pillowcases and we would go around to our neighbors and collect candy. We have such a lame neighborhood. Well, you know how I feel about my neighbors, right?
Yeah, so far. I do. Mm-hmm.
We even have a lame Halloween neighborhood. There's a lot of kids, but for some reason they never make it to our court. I think that there's so many apartments that are at the top of the development that's here. By the time they get to the townhouses, they have to go past the apartments, through the townhouses, and then they hit the single family houses. And there's a lot of, you got to put a lot of feet in between you and your candy when you go to a single family.
Easy money, man. You just got to go for the volume.
Did you grow up in an apartment or a house?
A little of both. Now, my court for Halloween, we actually have got 3 or 4 of us neighbors that we will put a fire pit at the end of the courtyard, like in our little end of our cul-de-sac. And so we just basically leave the lights off at the houses, right?
It's like 80 degrees right now. You're going to have a
Oh my God, I know. It's going to be crazy. It's usually really cold, but it's going to be actually warm tomorrow probably. But yeah, we do a fire pit at the end and then we just turn the lights off. So the kids just come right to the fire pit for like 3 or 4 houses all together. And it's really fun. We hang out and have drinks. And
so in a way, you kind of have like a candy funnel. You actually have
exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
So
it's very fun and friendly. And
you've taken the whole marketing approach and directly inserted it into the Halloween way. How long have you been doing the candy funnel in your neighborhood?
Gosh, probably 5 or 6 years. I mean, we just do it because we want to drink together, while the Halloween kids are walking around. Yeah.
What's it actually like to like your neighbors? Or is it a good experience?
It is nice. But we do have an interview today, so we really shouldn't get too far off topic. We're going to be talking about Stacey Randall.
It's Halloween
tomorrow. You know what? Tomorrow we can talk about how good Halloween is. Oh, geez, we're going to record episodes tomorrow, and I've got Halloween stuff tomorrow. We'll figure it out. Anyway.
Oh yeah. Well, how late do your festivities go? Normally, if you have kids, they're like done by like 8 o'clock, aren't they?
Yeah, that's true. I guess we usually do stay out till like 8 or 8:30, but that's okay. We'll work it out. And we got a sponsor today too. We have our Be More Biz Conference that is coming up November 7th through the 9th. That is next week. Do you believe this?
I can't believe it. Well, there's a bunch of stuff that's going on. Yeah, the Be More Biz Conference is one of the things that we're doing. That's the 7th, 8th, and 9th of November. So Monday night, first night, Tuesday all day, Wednesday the recording of the episodes that we're going to do. I happened to hang out over the weekend. I was in Tampa, Florida, hanging out with Casey Cornelius, and we were just coming up with some great strategy about what the topics that we're going to cover and all the fun stuff that we're going to do. You got to be there, everybody, because if you're not there, you are missing out.
And we've only got like 3 slots left. So you got to sign up.
I don't even know if the 3 are available because I did talk to my brother Rich, who is providing this amazing conference space with like multimedia fun stuff, and he's got the shit. I mean, this office is like. You've got to see this, Strick. You're going to be excited when you see this office. You're going to be like, hey, Doug, I knew this was going to be cool, but I did not think it was going to be this cool. Like key card entry, like fun, just like really legit stuff. Like like almost like we have a normal office.
I love it. I'm excited. So we have 2, maybe 3 slots left. It'll depend. Who knows? It may be filled up by the time you guys hear this podcast.
All right. So if you are planning on coming to the Be More Biz Conference, it would be a good idea to let me and Strick know. Also, it would be a good idea for you to sign up. And, here's the smart thing that you should do. Just pay. Okay. Because if you pay, we'll still let you come. All right. We
even have a discount code, DC PodPeep.
Oh, we are still using that PodPeep thing, aren't we? DC PodPeep. So just click on the show notes. There will be a link in there how to get registered for the conference. We do have a few slots left, especially if you're in DC or in Baltimore area. Come on, we need you at our conference. It's going to be really fun. Great mastermind sessions and all. So
and you get to be on the episode of the podcast. We're going to do 3 episodes for the next week. We're going to record it with all of the people at the mastermind.
I think that of all the learning that's going to go on, actually, that part I'm most looking forward to because we're going to let everybody that has been a part of the, all of the banter back and forth that we always talk about these guys. You're actually going to hear from these guys. You're going to hear Sean. You're going to hear Casey. You're probably going to hear Laura. Well, you've heard Laura before. You're going to hear me and Strick again, and you're going to hear some new people too because we got a bunch coming. So we are on our way, Strickland. This is going to be great. Once we're done with this conference, we will say the conference is behind us, but then we will start planning for the next one.
Exactly. So as if we needed any help going off the rails on our Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday show, we're going to have even more people to help us do that next week.
Yeah, we'll do it quickly. So that'll be the way to go.
So we do have a sponsor today, BombBomb, who we talked to Steve and Ethan on Friday. That was our last Friday interview, Steve and Ethan. And man, I'm telling you, I love BombBomb.
A great episode. If you have not yet listened to that, I don't know, what's the episode number? Do you know what it is?
237.
To episode number 237. Steve and Ethan from BombBomb were on with us, and they are a new partner of ours. There's a partnership link in the show notes as well. If you want a 14-day free trial, head over to it. What BombBomb is, very simply put, it is video within your email. So if you send out a Gmail, you don't have to go to YouTube, make a video, upload it to YouTube, download it, come up with a screenshot, put it in your none of that. It's very simple. It is right from your email. One of the things I found out about BombBomb since I've been using it, I've really stepped it up like to the next level. Mm-hmm. Listen to this, guys. When people are actually opening your email and reading it, and you know how many times they open it, how many times they watch it, and they can even reply to you using the video format also. I mean, that's pretty cool.
No, and it's so cool because there's no attachment, there's no link to go to, there's no nothing. It's just basically a quick plug-in that you plug in on your browser, and the other person that you're sending to, I don't think even needs that.
No.
And basically, they open the email and the video's right there, and it's so personalized, and they don't need to buy anything or do anything to reply video email. You just use your webcam, and 14-day free trial, no credit card needed.
All right. So sign up for BombBomb. Make sure you use the show notes, the link in there, because that will show them that you came from us. We want to show them that we are actually doing some marketing for them as well. So click on the show notes. It is bombbomb.com, and you'll see that rhymes. Bombbomb.com, and it will be I forget what the / is, but just click on the link in the notes.
Yeah. Now, Stacey Randall, the interview today, she is all about networking and growth and referrals.
You know what she also talks about? Big BHAGs.
BHAGs, like
big hairy audacious goals. That's
Everybody
right.
needs to have one.
I really, what really fascinated me so much about the interview, and you guys will hear, I get a little emotional during the interview about 10 minutes in. This hit a home run with me. It just was right in the middle of my power zone. The things that I feel like I'm doing wrong, Stacey kind of, I might actually use her to help me do some coaching. I was talking to her after the show about, because I just don't really understand everything that I need to know about how to get to the next level. I did that with my DJ business just by being in business for 30 years. This business, I'm trying to put on a slightly different accelerator. And Stacey basically said, hey, here are the few steps that you need to get beyond where you are right now. How to get continuous referrals, how to get referrals, not only get them, but get them without asking for them. Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah. How to do that eloquently, properly. The right way to do it, those kind of things, how to get more business, that's the stuff that we all need more of. So Stacey definitely does a good job of covering that. Yeah,
we need that on the podcast. We need more referrals. You need to tell 2 friends, to tell 2 friends, to tell 2 more friends. Hey, where are we on Overcast, by the way? I haven't looked lately.
Somebody said that we were number 6.
What?
Yep.
You guys are not doing your job.
Hey, guess who called me?
Tim
Hill Do you know who Tim Hill is?
The name sounds very familiar. Did we interview him?
No, we didn't interview Tim, but Tim was a guy that was...
Oh, yeah. Tim made the comment about, he's the one that called in about 10cc.
Yeah, exactly. And Tim and I have gotten to be friends. He is actually calling me all the time now. Tim and I are just talking regularly now. We'll talk about this on tomorrow's show, on Tuesday's show. Okay. But Tim and a couple of others, I think Prash and Mar, are actually going to go on the Whole 30 program. So as a result of me being on the program, if you don't know what the Whole 30 is, we're going to cover that all tomorrow. You're going to have to come back and listen to tomorrow's show.
Yeah, listen tomorrow and hear all about that. And but now we're going to get into the interview with Stacey Randall, all about growth by referrals. You think we're ready here, Doug?
We are ready. Let's do it. Stacey Randall, take it away. So do you need more money or do you need more time in your life? My answer is a definite yes. We all do, but today's guest, Stacey Randall, is an expert at finding more money and more time in your life and for your business. She hits a home run with the market she works with, and that's just peeps just like you and me, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and business owners. So welcome to the Nice Guys on Business podcast, Stacey.
Thank you, Doug, so much for having me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. So let me start here. I love the promo videos that you talk about the entrepreneur roller coaster. Do you remember actually creating that video? I know there's a ton of video for your content that's out there, but do you remember this video roller coaster concept?
Absolutely. I talk about it all the time.
So let's spend just a moment talking about that and talking about your business. But let's just start with this such an interesting thing, this entrepreneur roller coaster that you talk about in your video. So share with the Nice Guy community what your feelings are.
I think when you first say, the entrepreneurial roller coaster, people think of that really fun ride at Six Flags or Carowinds or some like roller coaster, right? That's like, this is going to be so fun. No, this is a very bad roller coaster.
Totally.
Right. This is not one you want to be on if you can help it at all. And what I have found is that in this particularly plagues solopreneurs and micro small businesses, like usually, you got less than 5 to 7 people, is that you get busy doing the work. And you hustle to bring in work, and then you get busy doing the work, and then you look up and there's no more work on the horizon. And I say that is when the roller coaster ride kind of begins. And the ups and downs are directly tied to no money in your bank account, no prospects in the pipeline, and your stress going straight up. And so we kind of get on this roller coaster of get business. Oh, put your head down. The ride starts going down because you're doing the work. And then you look up, you're like, oh gosh, I have no business. And you start hustling more and the ride goes back up. And, the reality of it is all entrepreneurs feel at some point in their journey that they're on that roller coaster.
You just named my daily activities. It's so true. And you just hit a home run just in the analysis of what I go through. Exactly. Even in the first 10 seconds of you talking, I'm like, God, she's so on target right here. Okay, keep going.
Well, and so here's the thing, right? We will all experience it. But Doug, I want you to get off.
I want to get off the roller coaster too.
You shouldn't be on it. You have to get off. And what I tell folks is that if you get off, your business, you'll be happier, and anyone at the home will be happier with you as well. But you'll see more purpose, and you'll be, just not even just happier from your stress level, but you'll love your business more.
So, but let me ask this though, and maybe this is something that you're about to get into, but how do you get off of that roller coaster? Because when you're jockeying for business, you're working hard prospecting and getting out there and talking to clients and prospective clients. Then they come to you and they're like, okay, Sandler, we're ready for your shit now. And then so you provide them all the stuff that you do. And while you're doing that, of course, now you're creating content and creating the program and actually servicing the client. And you're like, holy crap, I just forgot about all that stuff I was doing in the prospecting and referring and all that other stuff. And then you go back to it's that constant roller coaster.
Yeah, it's that back and forth. It's like a dance, and you're not dancing very well, right?
No, and I'm a Jewish kid from Pikesville. I dance horrible. I'm very bad dancer. I can do the cha-cha slide, but that's only because I've been professionally trained at it.
Nice. So, I tell folks when you think about that roller coaster and you think about that dance of between doing business development versus working in the business and working on the client work, and kind of between those two places is that there's one piece missing typically from your business. And for some folks, there's more than one piece missing, but the one piece missing is that you haven't figured out how to touch business development every day in a way that's going to work for you. And you don't have a really good control over, depending on the level of client work, what that touch for business development will look like. When things are slower, you should ramp up your business development, of course. But when things are crazy busy, you still have to figure out how to touch business development every day. And let me be really clear. I am not talking about the fact that you sent out a couple of Facebook messages or you sent out a couple of tweets and you called that your business development for the day. And we're like, okay, at least I did something, right?
You just saw me. You just saw my business plan. We had many episodes ago, Jeffrey Hazlett, a friend of the Nice Guys and a friend of mine as well. And he calls it dialing for dollars. I'm like, I just hate that cold call, that prospecting thing. So I'm hoping you're not going to make me get into that world either.
No, if I could save every human from the cold calling hell, I would totally do it. I just think that, and I've done it before. I had a job in the past where I had to do it, and I'm really bad at it. Yeah. And I'm a pretty easy person to talk to. Still really bad at the cold calling thing.
Well, probably very similar to me. You're great at relationship building and being in the relationship world, but you just don't want to have to call somebody and say, don't you need what I have?
Right. Don't you want to buy from me? Because again, nobody wants to be sold.
Right.
They want to buy.
They want to buy. Right. Exactly.
Right. And so, yes, to your point, and what I tell folks is, and I definitely have clients that do cold calling, and I'm like, okay, how fast do we move you away from this? And it's just the nature of like the commission structure or whatever it is that they're on. But to your point, right, if we figure out a way to touch business development, and I mean real business development every day, and we figure out a way that works for us, that then actually has an ROI behind it, not just because it works for us and it's easy and it doesn't produce anything, it's not working, right? So you have to make sure that the business development you're doing actually feeds your business. And it's what you do day in and day out that matters. And I'll be honest with you, Doug, I learned this lesson a super hard way because the first business I ran failed. And when I looked back over that business failure and I licked my wounds and I got over the financial blow and the emotional blow and the mental blow, and then I finally picked my ego back up, right? I realized that I didn't touch business development every day because I hadn't figured out how to touch it in a way that was authentic for me, that I would do it. And then I realized in that first business where I had well-known companies as part of my client roster, like KPMG, Snyder's Lance, BDO USA, the City of Charlotte, Coca-Cola Bottling. When I had companies like that.
Come on, that's like all chumps. I mean, why are you just dealing with the small-time companies?
I know, because that's where my people are. That's who I deal with now. But this was my first business, and those are my clients, and my business failed. I mean, like, smack dab, it hit its face into the concrete, and it was painful. And what I realized is I had not figured out in that business, my first business that I owned, and it was an HR consulting firm, so it's different from what I do now, but I had not figured out how to touch business development every day in a way that actually generated results and I was willing to do. And then I realized, to your point, I'm really good at relationships. Referrals come from relationships. And that first business, I did not receive one referral in years. Wow. And that business lasted for a couple of years. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm missing something here. And so I had to go back and get a job. I had to go back to corporate America. And it was a very short amount of time that I was back in corporate America, but it felt like an eternity. And it was a great company, but just it wasn't where I was supposed to be. But I needed a job. So when I was there at that job, I paid attention to what did I do wrong with my business? How will I grow and develop a business? And what I realized is that referrals are actually a really important piece for my business. I can do the referral thing because it's relationships, right? And people want to refer people that they know, like, and trust. Like, this is the old adage. We all know that. And then I realized that everybody out there teaches you, well, to get referrals, you have to ask. And I was right back. I mean, it felt like a cold call to me all over again. I was like, what?
Yeah. Because I was going to say, like, and I don't mean to cut you short, but can we get to the meat? I'm always, I don't care about the pain. Just show me the baby kind of guy. Can we?
As a guy who never had a baby.
Right. Can we? I have 2 kids. I've just never had to deliver either one of them. So can you? What is it that you're able to do? So it doesn't sound like it's a cold call, and it doesn't sound like it's. I mean, it does sound like you're kind of networking and referring and trying to get into your prospective customers or your customer's head to get referrals out of them. What's the magic? Yeah.
So, and here's the really cool thing, right? Conventional wisdom the last 30 years says to get referrals, you have to ask or you have to manipulate a certain part of the process when someone is making the decision to work with you, right? The reciprocity that they feel towards you when they just bought, you should hone in on that area and then ask for referrals. None of that feels authentic to me. None of that feels right. But that doesn't mean I shouldn't be able to, live in the world of referrals and build my business that way. And so the reality of it is that you have to understand some fundamental pieces. And the first thing is all referrals come from relationships, and not like, hey, let's go grab a beer every week kind of relationships, because nobody's got time for that. But relationships that are built on connections where you are genuinely interested in helping the other person. And I figured out a way, and I call it like I cracked the code on like, what's the process? What's the plan I follow year in and year out to build these relationships, to create experiences for my referral sources. Some are centers of influence, some are clients, to really build experiences with them, really connect with them to where I can get triple digit referrals from them every year.
Well, Stacey, I find, and again, I'm not being a contrarian here, but I find that I kind of run two businesses simultaneously. I have this entertainment business that I do on the weekends, and I've had that for 30 years, and that business goes. I mean, literally for the 2,500 or 3,000 clients that I've had over the years that I've had this business, I don't know even how I'm getting the referrals. They're just coming to me, and that is great. In this other business, the speaking business, this online training business, this podcasting business, this vying for advertising kind of business in this other world that I have, very, very humbling and challenging, because all of that experience that I have from my entertainment business doesn't mean shit in this business that I have as being a professional speaker and podcaster. And no referrals come from that business. And I'm just curious, well, how do you get the ball rolling? How does it get started? So you're saying that a guy even like me who's had this business for 4 or 5 years that doesn't primarily work on referrals, but more so on, let's just make the cold calls. Let's go out there and do the email campaigns. Let's do all that other stuff. Let's create the sales funnels. There's a better way, it sounds like, Stacey. Is that right?
So here's a fundamental piece we kind of have to attach. And you're not going to like my whole answer.
That's
so
okay.
just stick with me here, okay?
Most of the women in my life, I don't like the answers they give me. So okay.
Well, and that just means they must be right all the time.
I know it.
So the first thing I would say is, for the entertainment business that you do on the weekends and it runs itself and you get referrals and you don't know where they come from, there's always a pattern, and there's things that you have done over time, great client experience, you've wowed people, you've given great buzz and all that kind of stuff, and that referrals actually come and you just don't know. There's a pattern there, and I could, if we sat down and unpacked it, I could show you, oh, when you do this, this is what happens, right? Always a pattern. The online world, I will tell you, is different. And here's the thing, I coach live, right? So the referrals that come from the clients that are going to work with me either over the phone or like come to my office, that referral business looks entirely different than what it looks like on the online side. I also have an online, one of the things I teach people is the referrals. I have an online course for that. The sales mechanism for that is totally different. And the referrals don't kick in until you have really some, what I would refer to as large amount of brand management and word of mouth. Because when you think about getting referrals in an online world, that's highly wired, and it just looks different. I don't need someone to tell me to go buy my shoes from Tom Shoes or Zappos or get my books from Amazon. I don't need to talk to someone at Amazon, Zappos, or Tom Shoes to buy shoes. I just need to go buy the thing.
And you just got to get on the internet, and they're everywhere because their brand is everywhere. So since most people that we're dealing with probably are not dealing with necessarily an online training style business, but rather either person to person, face to face, on the phone, coaching, business operations, that kind of stuff. How does that work into this? Because it sounds like that's probably a little less challenging and a little less out of our control than the person to person type of referral.
It is. It definitely is. And I tell folks, like the program that I do, I tell folks, if you're an online business, don't buy my program. Like, it's not going to fit your needs. There's something different that you look at growing and kind of building that online empire, so to speak. But when so that's more highly wired. When you're high touch, when someone has to know you, they have to decide that they on some level like you and trust you to then buy your services or decide to work with you or buy your product. That is when you are uniquely positioned to just go like what I would call get on the crazy train of getting a number of referrals, because that's the place where referrals start from, right? And so when you're really high touch and it's that face-to-face, like you're the financial advisor and I've got to decide that I like you and trust you before I'm going to give you all my money, or you're my realtor and I decide I trust that you can help me find the right house or get my house sold, and right. Those people in those positions, and it runs the gamut, right? It's the attorney, it's the CPA, it's the person who's going to build your house, right? It's right, whatever it is. those folks that are high touch, they are uniquely positioned to get referrals. And personally, what I believe is the easiest way possible, because relationships and face-to-face relationships are a part of their business. I'm not saying it doesn't happen for other businesses, and B2B, B2C actually doesn't matter to me. It's whether or not you're high touch. And it's what I call is that you're an H2H sales.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because I see that mentioned a number of times in the promotional material that you have. So what's H2H sales?
Yeah, so H2H sales is human to human.
Oh, I like that.
Right. So it's not about B2B or B2C. I mean, I worked with a company that does my online Growth by Referrals program and medical device sales. I mean, who would have thought, right?
Right.
Definitely B2B, right? But there's still a human on the other side that's making the purchase. And when that happens, right, you have yourself in a position. It's not going to happen magically. And you can't just snap your fingers and be like, and here are my referrals. But you are at least positioned to be able to build a business that should be sustained by referrals.
All right. So I'm not going to ask you to give away all of your mojo and your magic formula free, but where exactly do you start in the cycle? If somebody were to say, okay, well, just give me a tidbit of information so that I can at least see that this possibly could work for me. I know it could work. You have the track record to say, and you have a lot of clients. So, and I see a lot of your, the positive comments from your customers that have increased their referral base tremendously. But for somebody that's just tuning in and they're saying, well, everybody says that they have a great referral program and everybody says that they have these, they call it something different than H to H, but they're just being a person, people over profit, let's say. Give me a tidbit of information that can say, hey, this is the first thing I can do to get started.
Great. Thank you for asking that question, because I think that when you think about getting into referrals, it feels overwhelming when you don't know where to start. Mm-hmm. And to what I said earlier, most of the advice out there is, well, just go ask and you'll get some. And that's terrible advice. So I always tell folks, if you've been in business for a couple of years, you've got to go back and look at where your clients came from. And that truly is the best first step. Go take your clients from 2016, take your clients from 15, 14, go back as far as you have patience and list out the sources of how your clients found you. And look for the humans on that list. So someone found you through Google. Okay, we'll take that off the list, right? Oh, someone came to you through Sally. Somebody else came through Strickland, right? Maybe he sent you a referral, whatever it is, right? So like you're looking at these different things and you're like, okay, these are the people that have referred me clients. And I tell folks, if you've been in business for at least a year or two and you have some level of clients, you will have humans on that list.
Absolutely.
That does not mean you will always have humans, but most people will have humans. And I tell folks the first step, and I typically say there's like 5 steps to follow in getting control of your referrals and getting more. But the first step is identifying the who. Who refers you now? And do you have a lot or do you have gaps? Because that then tells us what our plan of action is to either get more referrals from all the people who kind of refer you now so we can get sustainable referrals year in and year out. Or do you have some people, but you really need more? So do you need to go after and actually cultivate better referral sources? And you can do that without asking. Again, that's kind of like the secret sauce, but you can definitely do that without asking. And for some people, like I worked with an attorney that is personal injury attorney. To be perfectly honest, she doesn't want referrals from her clients. She has helped them during the worst time in their life. Right. She doesn't want them to ever have to remember her. Like they love her. And if they know someone who's been in that same situation, of course she's getting the referral, right? But at the end of the day, she doesn't want to remind them of her. So her strategy was to focus on creating centers of influence referral sources. So when she looked at that, she was like, yeah, that's nothing. So sometimes you have to start from scratch. Sometimes you start with a base, but you've got to know who, or you have to know at least who should be referring you. And if you are in a business where you can get referrals from clients, it's never going to be 100%. It's never going to be 70%.
I'm sorry.
It's about 30% of clients that are probably somewhat wired and then would actually refer you. So you go looking for those clients who just love you or are well connected.
So obviously, it's best to start with the clients that you've completely wowed and you've just blown away with your level of service and the products and services that you offer. And are you creating a priority schedule? Your easiest ones are going to be the ones that have already referred you business. Your toughest ones are the ones that you went in when you were brand new and kind of did your thing, but 100% didn't maybe not hit a home run.
Right. So to your point, the people who love you and are already referring you, they kind of go on one list, right? The people who should be referring you kind of can go on a second list, so to speak, but you you really hit at the foundation point of referrals. And I tell clients all the time when they go through my program or they're doing it live with me, like over the phone coaching, I tell them there's one piece of this puzzle, of this process I don't have anything to do with. And that is that you have to do great work.
Right.
And not just good work, because everybody does good work. I worked with a financial advisor once and she was like, Stacey, I really think that the work that I do stands for itself. I'm like, no offense, but I expect you to manage my money well. And I expect, right, as a client, I would say to you, I expect you to manage my money well and to manage and mitigate my risk well with my insurance. And I kind of expect that from any financial advisor I work with. So if that's all you're giving me, that's not enough.
So what's the gold standard then?
So I always tell folks, you're trying to create a sticky client experience. And a sticky client experience is one where first you always set expectations and you talk about what does it look like to work with me. So as a realtor, if I know we're in a hot demand market and it's multiple offers, or every time I turn around, we're going to be in a multiple offer situation, I better have told you about that prior to you figuring out you just lost the first 5 houses you loved, right? So it's setting expectations. It's saying, what does it look like to work with me? And it's communicating through the process, and it's understanding very clearly, here are the work touch points that I follow in this process, and that I have some kind of checklist or something that helps me follow through the process to make sure I don't miss anything. And that can look a lot of different ways. And then you also have to have the connection relationship touch points as a part of that client experience, which is, you send an email to thank somebody for doing business with you. So what would it look like if you sent a handwritten thank you card?
Yeah. I mean, we stress some of those personal touches so much on the podcast, and I've done that. It's just been the way that I've led business my entire career. I just always thought, a handwritten thank you note or a cupcakes in the mail or something like that is always great. What's great about what you're saying is it sounds like you have a system that is set up so that if you want to be able to, if you started today, there's going to be new things that you're going to have to start implementing if you're not doing handwritten thank you notes, or, you're not doing those little touches, but you still have a book, 100 clients that you've serviced over the last couple of years. We have a system for that. And we also have a system that we can implement starting today, moving forward, so that we are actually putting people into this cycle of now you understand what it means to be a referral source for me.
Right. And I'll tell you that is exactly what it looks like, except for that's never the language I would use.
Right. Sorry, I didn't.
No, I don't want people to think that.
You're not going to tell your clients that you're my referral source now.
Right. I mean, but some people do that, right? I mean, some people say as doing business with me, you have to give me referrals. And I'm like, why would I ever do business with you then?
No, that's horrible.
It happens.
It's the action. It's the things that you do. It's when you send a handwritten thank you note, or when you remember that they went to Disney World on the vacation and you send them a link to Disney World through an email. It's the remembering their kids' names. It's the little things that we always talk about on this podcast that will get you the business. I just didn't realize there was a system. I just always thought that it was made common sense for me that that's the people that are going to give me business.
Well, so here's why we have it in a system. You're right. It is common sense, right? And people will go through my system and they'll be like, wait, that's it? Like it's
right.
Like simple. And I'm like, yes. And they're like, and it works. So it's brilliantly simple.
So why don't you do it? It's like, why don't you do it? I have a 5-step program, return your phone calls, your emails, you be on time every time. They're like, that's simple. I'm like, no shit, dummy. I mean, this is not rocket science. This is just, you're not doing it though.
But see, here's what happens, right? Because we're on the entrepreneur roller coaster. So you have to have a system in place. And that's like step 4 in my 5-step process is then we have to, whatever we just built, right? We then have to go automate it in your business, because I want the system to tell you when it's time to do something. And when I say system, you don't buy any additional software when you go through my program or you work with me. We use the calendar, right? We use the task list you already have, but we automate things so that if part of your touch point for referrals is sending a family picture on your Christmas card or Hanukkah card or holiday card, right? If that is one of your touch points, then I just need to make sure that it's in the system to remind you in November, you probably need to have the picture taken and have the card made.
What's so great about what you're saying is that it's so true. You don't have to, I don't know some of the like Infusionsoft or Salesforce or any of those, and they're great. And I'm not poo-pooing using any of that stuff. But when you're in a position not to want to spend $200 or $300 or $400 a month on an automated system, it's like, you have Google Calendar, set up a reminder. It's like,
it's free.
That's free. That is free. It's not quite as great a system as Salesforce sending you a little ding that says, hey, don't forget to call John Smith about such and such. Here's the email. Just hit send. It's not quite that easy, but business is not easy.
Right. And the hard thing, though, is a lot of people do look for the automation. Like, can I just set up an account with send out cards and it'll just take care of everything for me? And this is what I tell folks. It has to be authentic, right? And it has to feel like it took some time, because that's when it creates value for me. Right. So you remembered I went to Disney World and you sent me a funny article about Disney World. That's fine that comes through email, right? But I don't need to get a card from you that says that has your fake signature on it. I know some some systems send it out on your behalf. Like, I tell most of my folks, you don't have to do a ton of touch points. I mean, there's some people who talk about it's 24 touches in a year. I'm like, you touch me 24 times in a year, and I'm
calling
on
the cops for
list.
molestation.
Yeah, I'm like, stop emailing me. I don't need any more noise in my email box, right? And so it's not 22, it's not 52 touches in a year. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about real, authentic experiences that can be a repeatable process for you, so you can make it happen and you can actually automate it in your business without spending any more money. And you can focus on building those relationships and creating experiences that get people to want to help you, because you're authentic about creating a relationship and a connection with them. And yes, this is all like legitimately common sense stuff. But the reality of what I found is, until I put it into a system and explained it to my clients of this is what it looks like, then the pieces fell into place. And they're like, oh, I can manage this. I hear a lot, is this going to be a lot of work? I'm like, no, unless you're doing it wrong. Well,
and they're thinking that you're just trying to put one more system into an already packed environment. And I think what you're telling them is, what I'm hearing at least, is that, hey, dummy, the system that you have right now, this roller coaster, this is way too exhausting, and you need to step off of the roller coaster to put, okay, so it's my system, it's another system. Just put an effing system in place so that you have these touch points that you need, so that you're going to start getting referrals.
Right. And I think you should do that as simple as possible, and you should do it on a shoestring budget.
I love that. And I love that. What part of the world are you in, Stacey?
Where I live, I'm in Charlotte.
We have got to get you to this, to our conference that we're doing. We'll talk about this offline, but the ideas, the things that you're saying are exactly the problems that on a daily basis that everybody that is an entrepreneur. And if you don't think that you have these problems in your life, you're lying to yourself. Not you, Stacey, but the people that are the Nice Guy community, because we all have this same exact thing. And part of this show, part of what we do is try to resolve the problems that you're experiencing in your life. And Stacey, that what you're saying, it completely makes sense. Talk to me for a second before we wrap up. I know that we're a little bit over time, but I told you we're going to go like 15 minutes. And if you're good, we're going to go 30 minutes. So we're going to end up going 30 minutes. And of course, tell me about these platinum principles that you have set out, because you've mentioned a couple of them in passing as a part of your system. But I love these platinum principles because they so make sense for us. So what are they?
Yes. So, and everybody, they talk about, okay, I've identified the who, right? That's kind of step number one, is figuring out who's referred you, or do you need people to actually refer you? Kind of identifying the who. And then people go, okay, and right. And they're like, I don't even know how, and then I start using words like experience, and they're like, okay, what? Right. And so I tell folks, what you want to do is you want to create experiences for the people who refer you or should be referring you, right? You want to create experiences for them. But when you hear me say the word experience, I want you to hear repeatable process. And we got to have some baselines for what these experiences or processes need to look like. And that's where the platinum principles come into place, because they provide you a roadmap, right? Just like the golden rule and the platinum rule of like how you treat other people, they kind of provide you a roadmap for what your experiences should look like. And it makes making decisions on what you're going to do actually easier. So the first platinum principle is that it has to be all about them. Mm-hmm. Whatever you do to form a connection with them, it's about them. Most people tell me, oh, I've got a newsletter I send out and I let them know what's happening. I'm like, and that is all about you.
Right.
Nobody cares. Right. And so, I'll have people say, well, I sent all my clients last year a water bottle with my logo on it. And I'm like, and your logo was on it, and that was all about you.
All about you. Right.
Nobody cared. Great promotional piece, not saying don't do it. Don't use it for referrals. It's a marketing thing. So keep them separate, right? And so when you think about that platinum principle of making it all about them, well, what do they need from you? Typically what that looks like, they want to be thanked. They want to be acknowledged for what they mean to your business. They may want to be educated. Maybe they're looking for introductions and connections themselves. And I didn't say referrals because it is not always a tit for tat. So, but maybe they're looking for you to help them with a piece of their business, or maybe they're looking to spend time with you talking about the industry or talking about life in general or whatever that is. Like, people make it so complicated. It could be a gift. Definitely. You could thank somebody with a gift. You could also introduce them to someone they've been dying to meet, and you facilitate that 3 people at lunch, right?
Yep.
And so there's simple things, there's big things. Like, you can do a lot of different things for folks, but you make it all about them. One example is this. I happen to coach a lot of working parents. I'm a mom of 3 kids. My husband and I, we have 3 kids. And so I want to make sure I don't leave my husband out of this quickly. He was a part of that process.
Yeah, I delivered the child.
Right, exactly. But so I happen to love to entertain, and I also know that majority of my clients, about 70 to 80%, own businesses and are working parents. And so they own businesses and they have kids, and whether that's the kids in high school, kids in diapers, it doesn't really matter. So I throw an appreciation party for my clients and people who refer me that aren't clients to bring their families to our backyard, and we do a backyard movie party every fall. Right? So that's about them. Hey, don't get a babysitter. Bring your kids. I'm going to feed you. You're going to be able to watch some really cool fall-based movies, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Right? So make it all about them. That's on the bigger financial scale. All about them can also be the nice handwritten thank you note. Okay. The second platinum principle is it's got to be authentic to you. And I had somebody ask me about that. He was like, really? Seriously? In 2016, we have to tell people to be authentic? And I was like, I don't mean it in the way I think most people think about it. What I mean by being authentic is don't do something that's uncomfortable to you. Yeah. If you hate to entertain, please don't throw a party. Right? Just do what's comfortable for you, what you're willing to do. The other thing is the third platinum principle is it's got to keep you top of mind. And this is really where the system kind of comes into place. And when you go through the course, we build this out in a template form. So you can see everything you're going to do over the course of a year, what you're going to spend, who you're going to do it for, and how you're going to automate it. And it kind of brings all these pieces together. And when I say, it's got to keep you top of mind, it's got to do that in a way, but it doesn't mean you have to do it every single month, right? And so you have this thing called runway. When I do a backyard movie event and a bunch of my clients come, or they don't come, but they're invited and they know about it, that buys me time without the next thing I need to be doing to stay top of mind that is authentic, that is all about them. And so I look for those opportunities. If you're going to email somebody and that's all you're going to do, you're going to be doing a lot of emailing because your runway memory is very short and all you are is noise in their inbox. So you've got to make it about them. You've got to make it authentic and comfortable for you so you'll do it. And then you've got to figure out what it looks like on an ongoing basis so you'll stay top of mind.
Jam-packed. That was a jam-packed interview. I mean, just complete. I mean, my mind blown. I mean, I'm just looking at all the points that we just covered. Stacey, how, if people wanted to get in touch with you and talk to you a little bit more about the services that you offer, how can they do that?
Yes. So the website is growthbyreferrals.com, and that's growth, B-Y, referrals with an S.com. But I would love to give your listeners, it's the 4 common reasons why you don't get referrals and what to do about it. And so it's just a quick guide that folks can read. Okay, here's some reasons why you're not getting referrals. These are the big ones I see. And then I give you quick fixes, like solutions to actually solve those problems. So I'll put that on the website. It's going to be growthbyreferrals.com/nice guys.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So your
I don't
listeners,
think we've ever had an extension before.
Well, you should. You're worth an extension.
Oh, jeez.
So definitely your listeners can go there. They'll obviously be able to download the guide for free and kind of read through what those things are. Of course, from that page, you'll be able to see my blog post and read my blogs and all that, kind of get more information on me. But I really think that's the place I would start, is figuring out, are you violating any of these 4 reasons right now? Because I'm going to quick fix them for you in that same PDF.
Oh, that sounds great. That really is great. Do you have time for just a couple of personal questions before we conclude?
Yes.
Okay, great. First of all, before I get into the questions, I realized as you were doing saying a couple of those things that the only time that you can actually say the word tit is when you have the for tat actually followed. I realized that it did not sound offensive at all, but there I've gone and screwed it up right there.
You were putting it in context.
Yeah, I was just helping put it in context. Let's see, Stacey, do you have an iPhone or something inferior?
Ooh. Well, that's not nice at all.
What do you have?
I have an Android.
I was going to say that means you don't have an iPhone.
No, I am not an Apple girl.
Okay, so you and Strickland probably get along very.
Strickland and I, we would just chum it out. Let me tell you, with our Androids.
All right, so now that we know that you have something other than an iPhone, that's fine. You probably still have. It's not a flip Android, is it? Do you have a texting app on that sucker, right?
Yes.
Okay, go to the last text message that you sent and received, and what was it? What did it say?
The last text message that I sent and received, who was that? Okay. So the last one was to a person I'm on a board meeting with, or I'm on a board with. We have a board meeting later today, and I was asking her if she was ordering lunch and could she get it for me too.
And what did she say?
She said, "No, I'm not going to the board meeting."
Oh, well, that figures.
So now I got to get my own lunch. I was like, she's right next to a cafe where her office is that I really like.
Oh,
so
that's good.
Yeah.
And go to your photo app. What's the last picture you took?
All right. The last picture that I took, let's see. It's so funny. So it's a street sign.
All right.
And it is, so I'm originally from Greenville, South Carolina. I'm in Charlotte now, but I'm originally from Greenville, South Carolina. And there's a suburb town outside of Greenville called Greer that no one's ever heard about, except for their football team is amazing in Greer. I did not go to Greer High School, but anyways, there is a street named Randall Street, which is of course our last name. Mm-hmm. And this real quick, and then I'll wrap this up. But it's on Randall Street. And so my husband's, of course, his last name is Randall, and I met him. We were dating him. And my father, after we got married, my father said to me, he's like, something I've always wanted to tell you. And I was like, what? He goes, you know that house in downtown Greer that you absolutely love? And I was like, yeah, I've been infatuated with this Miss Manor style, Tudor style house for years since I was little. And I'm obsessed with it. And like, you know that house you love so much? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, do you know it's on Randall Street? And I happen to have married a man with the last name Randall. It was like God just knew what he was doing.
And it's for sale, Stacey.
It's not. It's not for sale. And I don't want to live in Greer, so I will never.
I get that. I get that. Yeah, my wife is actually from Charlotte, so we'll have to make a visit down to the Charlotte. They live. I can't remember the name of the development where they live, but Charlotte's not that big a city. But it is I love Charlotte. It's a great city.
It is. It's a wonderful city. We love it.
Stacey, thank you so much. You've been a great guest today. Jam-packed information. All of the information about Stacey's company and the services that she will be shown right there in the show notes. And I will make sure right after we hit the stop button, Stacey, you give me that link one more time for Nice Guys, and I'll make sure I put that in the show notes as well.
Perfect.
Stacey, thank you for being a part of the show. Nice Guy community, never underestimate the power of nice. Special thanks to Stacey for being a part of the show today. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Looks like they made it through another one. I don't know how they do it without falling asleep in the middle.